I've been a little MIA, been doing two things, but I'm gonna read more of my book, Raven and Beast Boy. I forgot where I left off, to be honest, but I'll probably post it when I post it. I'll probably put it there. But anyways, I think it was like right. But her eyes fluttered open, vision blurry at first. The ceiling above her wasn't the swirling sky of the realm. It was the med-bay ceiling of Titan's tower. She exhaled shakily. She was home. A shadow moved beside her. Right? Beast Boy's voice, tired, rough, but warm, pulled her fully awake. He was sitting in a chair, pulled right up to her bedside, elbows on his knees, eyes fixed in her like he'd been afraid she'd disappeared if he blinked. She swallowed. Garfield, you're hurt. Glanced down at the bandages on his arm, the bruises on his jaw. I've had worse. You shouldn't have had anything, she whispered. I dragged you into... No, he said firmly, leaning closer. You didn't drag me anywhere. I followed you. Her breath caught. He meant it. He always meant it. Before she could respond, the door slid open and the rest of the team rushed in. Starfire flew to her side, eyes shining. Friend Raven, you have awakened. We were most concerned. Cyborg let out a relieved laugh. Girl, you scared the bolts out of us. Robin stood at the foot of the bed, arms crossed but expressing soft. How do you feel? Raven hesitated, like I'd been hit by a psychic freight train. Cyborg nodded. That tracks. Robin stepped closer. Raven, what happened in there? We lost contact the moment the realm collapsed. Raven's gaze drifted to Beast Boy. He didn't look away. She took a slow breath. It wasn't just a realm. It was me, my mind, my fear. He pulled me into a place where everything I try to control becomes real. Starfire's hand hovered near Raven's, and you were alone. Raven shook her head. No, I wasn't. Beast Boy's cheeks flushed slightly, but he didn't move. Robin nodded. Well, I analyzed the villain's energy signature. Whatever he did, we'll find a way to conquer it. Raven's voice dropped. He's not done. The room fell silent. Cyborg frowned. What do you mean? Raven closed her eyes for a moment, feeling the faint echo of red energy still lingering in her mind like a splinter. He left something behind, she whispered. A mark, a connection. I can feel him. Beast Boy's jaw tightened. Then we'll break it. Raven opened her eyes, meeting his. You already did. He blinked, confused. Right? You found me, she said softly, in the one place I never wanted anyone to see, and you didn't run. He swallowed hard. I told you, I'm not afraid of you. Her voice trembled. You should be. He shook his head never. Sorry about that. Robin cleared his throat gently. We'll give you two in a moment. Sapphire squeezed Raven's hand before floating out. Cyborg gave Beast Boy a knowing look. Then the door slid shut, leaving the room quiet again. Raven stared at her hands. Garfield, what you saw in there, that wasn't all of me, but it was real. I know, he said softly. And you still say it? I always will. She looked up at him, really looked, and something inside her cracked open. Not fear, not shame. Something warmer, something terrifying in a different way. Garsh, she whispered. I don't know what's happening to me. He reached out gently, brushing the strand of hair from her face. Then we'll figure it out together. Her breath hitched. For the first time since the round, she felt steady. Not because the storm was gone, but because she wasn't facing it alone. Chapter 11. I'm so sorry. The mark that lingers. Raven tries to recover, but the villain's psychic connection begins to surface again. Beast Boy refuses to leave her side as the truth becomes harder to ignore. The tower felt different, not dangerous, not chaotic, just tense, like everyone was waiting for something to happen. Raven sat on the edge of her bed, cloak draped around her shoulders, hands folded tightly in her lap. The med bay had cleared her physically, but her mind felt like sharp glass, fragile, sharp, and full of reflections she didn't want to see. A soft knock sounded at her door. She didn't need to ask who it was. Come in, she said quietly. Beast Boy stepped inside, closing the door behind him. He looked exhausted, dark circles under his eyes, bruises still fading, but he still managed a small smile. Hey, Raven's voice was barely above a whisper. You should be resting. So should you. She looked away. I'm fine. He raised an eyebrow. Ray, you passed out for 6 hours. She flinched. I didn't mean to. I know, he said gently, walking closer. That's why I'm here. He sat beside her, close but not touching. She can feel his warmth anyway. For a long moment, neither of them spoke. Then Raven exhaled shakily. Something's wrong with me. Beast Boy's expression softened. Nothing's wrong with you. Yes, she whispered. There is. She lifted her hand and a faint red shimmer flickered across her skin. Beast Boy's breath caught. Ray, it's him, she said, voice trembling. The villain who left something inside me, a connection, a mark. Beast Boy reached for her hand, turning it gently so he could see the shimmer. It pulsed once, like a heartbeat, before fading. Does it hurt you? He asked softly. No, she said. It feels like pressure, like someone's watching from the inside. He squeezed her hand. We'll get it out. Raven shook her head. You don't understand. This isn't just a spell or a curse. It's tied to my emotions, my fear, my power. If I lose control again, you won't. You don't know that. He leaned closer, voice steady. I know you. Her breath caught. He meant it. He always meant it. Before she could respond, a sharp pain shot through her skull. She gasped, clutching her head. Raven, Beast Boy grabbed her shoulders. What's happening? Her eyes snapped open, glowing red for a split second before flickering back to violet. A voice echoed in her mind. You can't hide from me. Raven's breath hitched. He's here. Beast Boy's jaw dropped. Where? In my head, she whispered. He's trying to pull me back. Beast Boy pulled her into his arms without hesitation. She stiffened at first, she always did, but then she melted into him, shaking. Garfield, she whispered, voice breaking. I'm scared. He held her tighter, one hand in her hair, the other around her back. I know, he murmured, but I'm not letting him take you. Her fingers curled into his shirt, desperate. The red shimmering flickered again, stronger this time, but Beast Boy didn't flinch. Ray, he whispered, pulling back just enough to look into her eyes. You fought him before. You can fight him again. She shook her head. Not alone. Good, he said softly, because you're not alone. Her eyes widened, vulnerable, raw. Garfield. He brushed a thumb across her cheek, gentle. I'm right here. The red shimmer faded, her breath steady, and for the first time since waking up, Raven felt something other than fear. She felt safe, but deep inside her mind, beneath the calm, a faint whisper lingered. Soon. Raven shivered. Beast Boy pulled her closer, and the tower's lights flickered. Chapter 12. Cracks in the Mind. Raven begins losing time. The villain's influence deepens. Beast Boy is the first to notice the ship, and the only one she can't hide it from. Raven stood in the tower kitchen, staring at the mug in her hands. She didn't remember making tea. She didn't remember walking here. She didn't remember any from the last 10 minutes. Her fingers tightened around the mug until it trembled. Not again. A faint red shimmer flicked across her knuckles, gone in an instant, but enough to make her stomach twist. She set the mug down carefully, afraid she might crush it. Ray, she jumped. Beast Boy stood in the doorway, hair messy, hoodie half-zipped, looking at her with a soft, worried expression he tried to hide. You okay? He asked. She forced her voice steady. I'm fine. He didn't bite. He walked closer, eyes scanning her face. You're pale and you're shaking. I'm not. Her hand betrayed her, trembling violently. Beast Boy gently took it, suddenly. Raven. She closed her eyes, breath catching. I lost time again. His jaw tightened. How long? 10 minutes, maybe more. He exhaled slowly, thumb brushing her necklace. That's the third time today. She flinched. I didn't want you to know. Too late, he said softly. I noticed everything about you. Her heart stuttered, not romantically, but in fear, because she knew he was right. He saw her, even when she didn't want to be seen. Before she could respond, the lights flickered overhead. A cold ripple ran through the room, like a shadow passing through her mind. Raven gasped, clutching her head. Ray. Beast Boy caught her as her knees buckled. A whisper echoed in her skull. You can't fight me. Her breath hitched. He's here. Beast Boy held her tighter. Where? In my mind, she whispered. He's falling at me, trying to take control. Beast Boy's voice dropped to a fierce whisper over my dead body. Raven shook her head weakly. Garfield, you can't fight what's inside me. Watch me. She opened her eyes, and for a split second they flashed red. Beast Boy froze. Raven? She blinked and the red vanished. I didn't do that. I know, he said gently. It wasn't you. She sagged against him, exhausted. I don't know how much longer I can hold him back. He cupped her face, forcing her to meet his eyes. You're not holding them back alone. Her breath trembled. Garfield, I'm scared. I know, he whispered, but I'm right here. She leaned into him, forehead resting against his chest. His arms wrapped around her back, grounding her, steadying her. For a moment the world felt still, then the tower alarm blared. Robin's voice cracked over the comms. Titans, we've got a situation downtown. Energy readings match the mass villain. Raven stiffened. Beast Boy's grip tightened. You're not going. She pulled back eyes wide. Eyes wide. I have to. No, he said, voice low. He's connected to you. He's inside your head. If you get near him, I don't have a choice, she whispered. If I don't face him, he'll take me anyway. Beast Boy swallowed hard, but I'm not leaving your side. She looked at him, really looked, and something in her expression softened. Garfield. He brushed his thumb across her cheek. We'll do this together. She nodded slowly, but deep inside her mind, the villain's voice whispered again, come to me. Raven shivered. Beast Boy felt it, and the lights flickered again. Alright, before I go to chapter 13, I'm going to pause this video and go back to another one, because I need to see how many are done already. I will keep reading.